Alright, today we're having a look at the Abandoned Caverns by Arastoph. Alright, so here we are in the Abandoned Caverns by Arastoph. Oh, that was nice. And, it's a bit of... I haven't played this before. I'm hoping it's LBP2 goodness and not just LBP-ness. Ah, get out of the way. Stop! What? You're too close. I need to get it up there. That was totally my fault. I've just been in the mood for playing older levels recently. LBP1 and LBP2 stuff. I don't know why. Oh! Okay, so that logic bit was just to indicate that we could grab, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. This has got a really nice look to it, just kind of off the chump, and I definitely appreciate that. Is it as nice as my cave? Oh, fudge. Okay, we made it. Oh, no, we didn't! My fault. Hi. Is it as nice as my caves hub? I mean, it might be. It actually probably definitely is. No, I'm really liking the look of this, though. It is really, really nice. Where... Oh, okay, there's... So, just a little bit tough to see some of the layer stuff periodically. So that's something to keep in mind. Can I grab on that? Wait, what? What? Well, okay, we'll figure it out later. Or maybe we won't figure it out. I'm not sure. So far, I mean, not too much more challenging than just me kind of getting myself killed because I'm not paying attention. Like, okay, I like this. Are we on a... Oh, fudge! No, we are on a timer. Okay, so, like, that's me. That's totally me. I'm sorry. Also, sorry, I feel like I should apologize to Arastoph because I'm playing the level poorly. Heat. Should I go down in the heat? Now, I mean, so, kind of, here's the thing, is that you've got two bits that are indicating that this is going to be dangerous, and then you've got one bit indicating, oh, this is where we got killed before, that it's not dangerous. So it's kind of like, what do we do with this information? How are we supposed to kind of engage with that section? But we'll figure all of this out. Secret found. I love secrets. Give me those secrets, baby. And we got another one, and I'm okay with that. What is going on here? It's slick. Like, don't get me wrong. It's super cool. What? Wait, what? Okay. That was a little bit confusing, but you know what? We're just gonna run with it. I'm gonna be okay with it, because it looked neat, and it worked in the end. Now, how would I go about getting that bubble? Are you grabbable? Oh! Fuss budgets. Well, that's not what I wanted to happen. Do I care enough to actually get this? Oh, crumbs! That is our... I hate this timer that I'm using now, but that is the timer. We gotta go back to the hub. We'll see you there. See yas! And we're back in the Abandoned Caverns by Arastoph. And I'd say it's a really strong yellow square level. It's got a great front end that I had a lot of fun with, while the back end does kind of fall apart in ways I think damages the overall experience of the level. It still feels like something that I can strongly recommend to players to see a really good example of LBP2 era level design and creation. Now, to start with the really positive points, and I really loved the environment of this level. The material choices and the shaping, the stickers, the decorations, the objects, for the most part they all come together to form a very coherent and cohesive environment, and I always appreciate seeing that in action. I do like these more, random, no theme style levels, but give me a great environment. That's something I can really sink my teeth into, and we see that on display here. There's also some really good examples of diegetically incorporating gadgets and player communication that I like to see. There's a part that we saw in the video where you've got a bit on an in-out mover. It's going to push the player onto spikes. Now, if you look in the upper left corner, there's a pretty big pressure gauge there with a needle that'll swing around to green when it's safe, and then back over to red when it's dangerous. And it's not ostentatious, it's not really in your face, but it is clearly giving you information that you're going to need to get through that section, and I thought that was really cool. Something that we see later on is the incorporation of the wormhole gadget in the level in a way as to make it not stand out. Arastoph has hidden them in these pipe mouths, and you're going to be traveling through those pipes to progress on in the level. Something cool in that section as well is the way that Arastoph has used cinematic cutscenes to show the pipes moving, to show that new paths are opening up. Like, all of that was really cool and kind of incorporating these things that the player needs to know in a way that makes sense to the environment, and that is great, which makes it a little strange that Arastoph has chosen to use exposed logic bits as well, and those don't really fit in the environment, and it kind of makes me question why they're there, because Arastoph has shown that they can indicate these things to the players in ways that make a little bit more sense, but you see things like the grab sensor and the in-out mover logic bit, and like toggle switches, and it's just like there are themes and styles of levels where that type of exposed logic can work, but it really looks out of place in this one, and I wish that Arastoph had chosen other ways to indicate those things to the player, so that is a bit of a downside in the presentation sense. Now, as far as gameplay in the first half of the level, you've got a lot of interacting with the level, with mechanical objects and movement, and I always love that. I always love seeing things move around, especially if it's something that you can interact with. You've got a little bit of grappling hook going on in there. Interestingly enough, not very much for traversal. You do use the grappling hook for a little bit of traversal, but for the most part it's just kind of getting switches and things that are out of the way. That is a good way to use grappling hooks, and you don't really see that style an awful lot, but I do wish that there was a little bit more of the movement side of the grappling hook married in with that getting things out of reach side of it, to have a little bit more balance and to get a little bit more mileage out of the grappling hook. Something that I thought was cool throughout the level is that there's a number of different kind of secret types. There's like secrets. You've got these yellow bubbles that will open up prizes at the end of the level. Whether or not you want those prizes or not, that's up to you. You've also got some larger score bubbles that are worth 500 points that add to your score, and you've got one or two like secret caches of regular score bubbles in the level, and I really like that mixture of secrets to really give players an excuse to search around the level and to try to get into areas that they're maybe not supposed to get into. I thought all of that was really cool. So the front end of the level, it's great. I had a really good time with it, but then we get into the second half of the level, and so as you progress, you use that cart, and you're taking the cart throughout the entire level, which I thought was cool, that you've got that singular element that's kind of being shepherded throughout. That was neat. But the cart like blows up the ground, and water fills up the level, and introducing water into levels, and it is really hard, I find, to incorporate and to keep the momentum of the level going, to keep it having a smooth flow, not to make a pun, because water really slows down movement a lot, and it makes the pacing of the level, you know, commensurately slow, and that's something that I personally don't really enjoy. I have seen water levels that pull it off, but I kind of don't feel like it's really done to good effect in this one. And in that water section, there's one section in particular that I found extremely frustrating, but also kind of confusing. So you've got this obstacle, you're in like a rounded cavern bit, and you've got a cross with spikes on it, and you've got a rotating grill, and then in the back of that grill you've got a little bit of like a swimming maze that you're going to have to go through. Now, you'll want to be grabbing onto a sponge bit to actually move backwards in the layer so that you can navigate around safely from the cross, and then you'll come forward in the layer to kind of progress in the level. So the thing is, and the thing that I couldn't get to work, normally when you're swimming, you can't change layers, and that's why you've got those sponge bits in there. You grab them so that you can move backwards and forwards. But when I was in this circular section, it was forcing me forwards into the spikes, and I don't know why that was exactly, but it was making it really, really frustrating because the timing, thanks to the speed of that crossbit, is really, really tight, and you've got to follow the grill in the closed sections. So if you go too fast and you get into the open section, or go too slow and have the open section come up on you, you're immediately forced out into the path of those spikes. And I died so many times there. I don't know why that was happening. I don't have enough experience with building in water myself, and like I said, I did try it out in the test bed. I tried a couple of different, ways of replicating that effect, and I couldn't get it to work, so I don't know what was going on there, but it was really, really frustrating, and it was really, really unfun, and it just like dragged the momentum down to a complete halt for me. And I have the feeling that if there weren't an infinite life checkpoint in that section, and all the checkpoints here are infinite life checkpoints, I bet that players would have bounced out of that section completely once they'd gone through their 5 lives. If I weren't doing it for, the episode, I probably wouldn't have forced myself to go through it. So that bit, I think, was definitely a downside to the level. Now, to kind of finish up this level on a positive side, there's a couple of uses of fans in the level here. They'll blow the player up, and you're gonna have to navigate so that you don't get into spikes, but I really like the effect there, and I really, really liked it when they were used in the water section, because again, you got a little diegetic bit where there's bubbles being blown by the fans so that you could tell that they're on, and I thought that was really cool. It was a nice little detail that I really, really appreciated. Now, through the course of this level, when you get to the end of it, and you do get a key that unlocks a level called the Mines of Boreas, which I also played because I figured, since it was unlocked through this one, that it was a companion piece. It was like a part 2, because this level does kind of end abruptly, and it was a little bit of a weird ending for me. So I go to the Mines of Boreas, and it's definitely not. It's its own thing, and what it is it's a really cool environment. There's a lot of really cool mechanical bits, but it's a racer, and it's a racer that doesn't really give a clear sense of direction to the player. So I felt like I was wasting a lot of time when I was going throughout that level, and that's always a really big problem. If you're doing racing levels, you want to make it, really clear to your players where they're supposed to be going at any given time, so they're losing points because they're not navigating the obstacles quickly enough, or with enough precision. They're not losing points because they're lost, and I definitely felt lost a number of times in the Mines of Boreas. Also, there's a monkey bar section. If you're doing a race level, don't put monkey bars in them. This is even beyond the fact that I just personally don't particularly like monkey bars, but they really slow down the pacing of movement. They slow down the momentum of the level, and you can just feel yourself losing points throughout that entire section. So I would really avoid monkey bars if you're doing races, and honestly, I'd probably avoid monkey bars just any old time, because they're almost never fun. But that's me. Might not be you. You might love the monkey bars. Your mileage may vary. Now, I know we didn't do a spoopy level, and it is almost Halloween, but it's actually the 11th of October when I'm recording this, so I wasn't really thinking of it. Maybe we'll do a spoopy level, next week, which will be November, but will be recorded before Halloween for me, but that's all neither here nor there. Play this level, play the Abandoned Caverns. It's really fun. I think you'll have a good time with it, and at least you'll learn a little bit of like what to do and what not to do, I think, when setting up presentation and gameplay hazards for players. But that pretty much does it for us here at this Go About. So from me, Disco, here in Tokyo, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.